Recording from Cincinnati, Ohio, my name is Austin Fluman. With me as always,
Anthony Gorman.
And this is the P-Funk and Fro Show, your weekly podcast for adventures, cool stories, and interesting people. This week's guest we found on Reddit.
Yeah, found him on the Cincinnati subreddit. His name's Mike.
Yeah.
And he has his own podcast called The Future Jam. So he was looking for guests or just ideas or like-minded people. And that's how we ended up.
So what kind of stuff did we talk about here?
We talked about how he got into podcasting, space elevators, Jerry Springer, his trips to China and Turkey, which were really entertaining.
Fantastic.
Yeah, white water rafting adventure. Now everybody's got we went down the river. No, this one's actually good to listen to. This one gets wild.
He could have died.
Right.
Very easy.
Bidets, again.
Bidets have come up in the podcast once again. How is this happening? Who knows?
Right. But it was a well-rounded podcast. I really enjoyed having Mike on.
It was. And once again, Facebook group, facebook.com/group/pfunkandfro. And one more time, in a couple of days, we'll be at the Flying Pig Marathon. Check out Fuel Coffee. We're going to be right outside of that place. So with that, we hope you enjoy the show. What's up, Mike? How's it going?
It's going great, guys. It's going great. Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no doubt. We're super excited that you're here. This is an interesting episode that's about to happen, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's kind of different how we got this guest here.
Yeah.
With us, Mike.
Awkwardly through Reddit.
Yeah, shockingly.
Yeah.
I think you posted something on the Cincinnati subreddit about getting guests, and I kind of just was like, hey,
yeah,
we're always looking for guests.
You snagged him.
Yeah, I snagged.
And then I didn't check it for a whole week, and then I log in, I'm like, oh.
That's right. I forgot there was that big lull, and I didn't really take offense, because it's the internet. So this guy could be looking through my comment history and be like,
to be
whatever.
fair, I did respond, and then it took him a week to get back to me. So I thought he was like, I don't like your message. It was a terrible message.
So I do remember telling Austin, and I'm kind of a bum about that, but I think I just wanted to talk it over with him before. I just didn't want to be like, hey, Austin.
Yeah, I found this
guy's
dude
coming. Right.
Like how you found that bike on the West Coast.
Exactly. Yeah. Just randomly. Yeah.
Just a random guy.
Long people along for the ride. But no, I'm definitely glad that you accepted. And it's just one of the chains in a long string of just awesome things that have happened to me and this podcast on the internet, just the internet in general. I always say the phrase for some reason, the internet provides. Because if I need something or I need to get something done, the internet always just seems to I can learn something. Yeah. It's just great. I love it.
Yeah. So Mike, you're the first guest, Mike Sandberg, everybody. You're the first guest that we've had that we didn't know prior to
that is
inviting
true.
us. So we actually met you looking for podcast guests. It's the first time that's happened.
So that's true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All the other guests that we've had, we've known. They've been friends or family. And now you're a friend.
But it's cool. It's also kind of legitimizing ourselves.
It is.
We have a guest.
Well,
that...
I'm not legit at all.
Well, I was about to say, I was segue into you also do your own podcast with a partner. Is that right? Like a buddy?
Yeah, definitely. We do our own podcast, and we just kind of started it out because we always argued and fought, and we'd go for hours arguing, and our friends would just sit there and watch us argue.
Just argue.
And so they're like, Mike, Jared, you guys need to make a podcast, and we'll listen to it. So we make it, and they don't listen to it.
What?
But other people do.
That's funny how that turns out. It sounds like your friends were like, how can we channel this energy?
Yes.
Somewhere. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But that's pretty cool because Austin and I we came across the same type of thing, but kind of at work. We kind of just realized I was just talking about VR, and then all of a sudden Austin was like, Anthony, why are we not just doing this, recording and just see what happens? So that's really cool. You and your friend started a podcast. It just seems like a lot of people may not just pull the trigger and just start doing it, but that's pretty cool. That same type of story.
And I went into it just for the fun in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then I realized I got a lot of good feedback, and everybody's like, well, hey, we actually enjoy this.
Okay.
And so I'm like, well,
shoot,
I got to make this legit.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I made a good title, or a decent title, or so I think.
Well, what is your title of the podcast? For
the title of the
listeners?
podcast is The Future Jam. So future is about future technology.
Okay.
And we also cover current technology as well.
Yeah.
But we kind of want to talk about on the show, what will humanity be like in the future?
Oh, I see.
So we cover self-driving cars and how that will affect you.
Awesome.
traveling to other planets and will we have to travel to other planets eventually?
Oh, yeah.
And then we cover stupid stuff as well, like the smartphone that you can buy a case for, and you can have another smartphone piggyback.
Oh my god!
Just weird random tech things like
backup.
that.
A backup phone.
Yeah.
So how did you make the transition? So you initially started because you and your friend would argue all the time, right? But now you're this future centric tech podcast. So how did you make that transition? What made you decide to do that?
So I was trying to find something we were both passionate about, and we were both passionate about technology and, those types of topics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I kind of built this around that.
Okay,
Gotcha.
that makes sense. So like a common interest.
Common interest,
yeah. Okay.
And there's tons of, there's tons of topics out there that will fit into this. You can kind of go off a little bit on different tangents. So it's just, it's a box, but it's a pretty big box.
Yeah.
It's a pretty decent playground to play in. So
yeah, my news feeds, I'm addicted to the news, especially on the internet.
Yeah, same here.
And most of that news is kind of like the text and futurology. And so you're right, dead on. Every day there's something new. We were talking, we met up at the mall before coming here, and we were talking about Elon Musk's rocket that just happened, yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah, it just happened yesterday.
And then he was just nodding along, and I was like, okay, he's the same avenue of news there. So I could definitely see that because it's just never ending, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And the actual topic was the actual show title was going to be Futurology, but that was already taken.
Yeah, that's
already been done, and
right?
Stuff. So it's kind of that vein.
Yeah,
but we also talk about current things as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it's a good title. Yeah, like Future Jam.
Yeah, it's a scatter shot.
Right.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've always been passionate about it. I grew up reading Popular Science magazine, which
me too.
Popular Science magazine has all sorts of awesome articles in there, and they always like to theorize on what the future could look like.
Yeah.
And I always had that imagination as a kid, like, oh wow, flying cars.
Yeah.
We could be going through elevators.
Exactly.
Those crazy elevators where like a chute.
Oh yeah. Well, it's what do they call it? A space elevator?
Like the Jetsons elevators or stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's actually a thing that they are looking to do. It's just that we don't have a material that can actually have that type of tension.
Really?
So to be anchored on Earth, it's called a space elevator. And they think carbon nanotubes is what is going to be the material that's actually going to come out that'll actually be able to hold that. So it's basically, okay, so you have a satellite in space that's orbiting Earth 1-to-1. So it's basically going with it. And you would connect two cables, one from Earth that would be, I guess, imagine a giant helicopter pad type thing, just constantly keeping it taut. And then the other space would be probably rocketed down, I would imagine, some sort of ship. They connect it, and the weight is out. So if you imagine the Earth spinning and having this, just call it counterweight, kind of on the Earth, just spinning on the outside of it, and it's a long wire from the counterweight in space down to Earth, and you can. And they're thinking this is the best way to make bigger ships or bigger command stations out there, or for travel to other planets, because it's very hard to build things in space, mainly because it's so expensive to get the crap up there.
Yeah.
So if you have a space elevator, even if it's 1/4 the amount of payload that you can do on a space shuttle or a rocket, you can go back and forth even once a day would be amazing.
Holy
so you could
crap.
just bring parts up there, food, and then build a spacecraft that can actually support a Mars mission, say, and then actually refuel them. So instead of having the Mars mission land back on Earth, which you don't actually have to design something to go through the Earth's atmosphere, you could just make the ship in space. It only goes in space.
Oh my god!
Launches pods to Mars, accepts pods from Mars, and just is basically a space taxi back and forth Mars and Earth.
So he's read his stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
So you're.
I was going to say, welcome to Future Jam, everyone.
Right.
So I'm going to take over this podcast, and this is the next episode.
I don't know if I alluded to it, but the subject of your podcast excites me greatly.
Yeah.
So
this is why it's we have to send Anthony to be a guest on your podcast.
That's why,
quite obviously he'll be a perfect guest for that.
Definitely.
I would love
be
to.
Awesome.
Yeah. 100%. So just to clarify, it's got a taut rope. So how exactly are you transferring things from Earth to this thing?
So once that rope is taut with the counterweight out in space, you can just use that central line as the thing to propel.
Oh, okay, I get you.
The elevator. I guess so. Elevator is just a very simplistic way of viewing it.
Yeah,
it's basically That's basically what it is.
Elevator's good.
Yeah.
That's a good descriptor.
But it's hard to imagine. I would almost have to like draw it just to like the sheer scale of it.
Imagine climbing up that like a rope in high school.
Oh, one of those gym ropes that you climb like a monkey,
like climbing up all the way to space.
Yeah, could you imagine seeing that rope on ground level?
No,
because you would look up at it and it would just go into seemingly infinity, and you wouldn't actually really see its end. I would imagine.
Kind of reminds me. Did you watch the Star Trek reboot?
I've watched the newer movies. Yeah,
the new movie. I guess one of the space stations had like a rope like that. That went
I did
down,
see it in that. Yeah, but I feel like the first I read about that, it sparked my memory was in like popular science or popular mechanics.
Yeah, exactly. So
I would read my dad's old ones, and I feel like that was the very first time I ever heard about it. But recently, like carbon nanotubes, which is. Listeners, I know this is like super techie.
It's getting into it.
It's getting into it. We're not going to go in too deep.
I'll jump back out of the tech water.
It's all right.
But
I'm sorry, guys.
If you're interested in like super materials, carbon nanotubes is like the next big one. Like the running joke in the internet is like it does everything but leave the lab. So it's like
it's true,
right? So it's like they're coming up with like our cell phone batteries are going to last like a month. You know, with carbon nanotubes. And then it's like, so now every time I read a headline with carbon nanotubes, I'm like, whatever. But apparently it's just really hard to mass produce it. So once that's the big frontier with that. So once they get that down, then yeah, a lot of things are supposed to change in medical industry, space, and all tech in general.
I'm so Googling carbon nanotubes after this episode.
Yeah, it's basically like, what is it, an atom diameter
tube? It's more than paper thin, and it's a lot stronger like than any other substance that we have.
So it's just a powerful material, basically?
Yeah, it's very small, like very, very small, and they can layer it.
Gotcha.
But in a sense, it's just small, but powerful for the size and weight.
Right.
Got it. It's like an ant.
Yeah, I think on a molecular level, like the carbon atoms fit so perfectly tight together that if we can actually make them a perfect fit in a usable amount, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Then amazing things can happen.
It's hard to manufacture anything on that small of a stage. Yeah. So that's the problem, is mass producing this.
And I think there's videos out there of where you can like they stretch it out and then it basically like floats.
Yeah, it's not lighter than air, but it's so light that the air the draft will just keep it afloat.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Holy crap.
So yeah, space elevators.
Space elevators.
Carbon nanotubes.
Coming to
all
town
of this
near
is
you.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Can you imagine like just going to like a little observatory dock out there? That'd be sweet.
Yeah, going to Mars for lunch.
Yeah, that would
pick up some Martian tacos.
Imagine that trip up there.
That's insane.
Martian taco.
That sounds great.
What's on a Martian taco? Just dirt.
Martian meat? I don't know.
Martian meat.
I don't know. Martian meat. Cheese. Mars cheese. I don't know.
So, Austin, what type of Martians do you think live on Mars?
Look, I've never been to Mars.
You know what?
I can't say for sure.
I bet if we win, we colonize Mars.
If we win,
win what?
I was about to say if we do, but when we do, because I think it's kind of inevitable. But
we'll see if it's inedible next.
Well, I think there'll be edibles, so there'll be like definitely people would want to buy things from Mars that were like created on Mars, because then it'd be like, this was made on Mars, or like this plant was grown on Mars. Like I could see that.
Yeah, people addicted to eating space rocks.
Right. Well, I'd be excited just to have a damn Mars rock, honestly.
I mean, I would too.
A moon rock would be pretty cool too.
Anyway, so we're talking about Mars rocks.
Yeah. So
in-depth take on Mars rocks.
Yes. Yeah, that was good.
If this like intrigues you, it sounds like Future Jam would be.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued.
Good. Yeah.
And I want to listen more. So yeah, if you guys like that kind of thing, that kind of deep scientific futurological delve into science in the future. Yeah, I'm super interested. Check out his podcast. Do you post every week?
Yeah, we post every week. I try to hit Tuesdays, but I couldn't hit it this week.
Because you're here.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I hit it. Because I'm here, guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, welcome. So you talked about picking a specific topic for your podcast because it was wide open, but you have to narrow it down. That's something we kind of struggle with at first in the beginning as well. Yeah. But I think, like you said, you've got a good specific science category, but it's so broad you could talk about a million different things.
Yeah, science, technology. There's so many different topics there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we kind of narrowed it down to the same way. Like our our topics are like adventure, cool stories, and interesting people or whatever. And that's super broad, but it's also specific. So you can say, I like these 3 things, and it could evolve a million different things.
Right. Exactly. We're not like super scatterbrained when I'm talking about my love for sewing one week, and then the next week I'm like water skiing or something.
I would listen to an episode about your love for sewing.
I would love to record an episode of your love for sewing.
Well, I know how to sew basically.
You do?
Yeah.
What's the last thing you sewed?
Probably a cornhole bag. So like when I was in college, like I had these like cornhole bags. I actually had the corn on like the cheap like fake stuff. Yeah. And oftentimes we'd be drinking and people like all of a sudden would be like, "Fro, the bag's leaking again." And I go, ugh. And I go in and get my sewing kit. And I specifically remember this one time I had a girlfriend that was arriving late to the party. It was kind of like a day thing. Usually when it was cornhole weather, we were always playing cornhole. Anyways. Yeah. And I was sewing a cornhole bag on the stoop. And I remember my girlfriend and her friend came up and she was like, "Are you sewing?" And I was like, "Yeah, no one else can do it." And she like started making fun of me and I was like, What? This is a skill. And then I said something like, "No one else can do it," and the game's halted. You know, you can't play with just
I'm saving the game.
Right. I mean, that's basic sewing. It's just basically stitching. Yeah. In and out. But yeah.
I did that in home ec.
Yeah. Yeah. I never learned it. Moeller didn't have, I went to an all guys school, but I don't think I ever had sewing.
Didn't have home ec?
Nah, I didn't have home ec.
We made pillows where you
bake stuff and stuff?
Yeah, we baked a lot of stuff. We made pillows. That was cool. I still sleep on one of the pillows.
And you don't remember sewing?
We did. Yeah, I did sew.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I sewed the pillow. It's a good pillow.
I was going to say, how does baking and pillows have anything to do with each other?
Is that part of the same class? Or?
It was like home ec. So it was all these like. It was basically.
Did you have home ec?
They offered it, but I didn't take it.
It was mandatory for us in 7th grade.
Interesting.
It was before high school.
Okay.
So it was like elementary, middle school or stuff.
Oh, I went to like a Nazi boot camp for middle school.
Yeah.
I don't think they had the funds to even have home ec. Because it was tiny school.
Our Spanish class used to be in the home ec room for some reason because we didn't have enough rooms in her high school. Yeah. And we used to just stick stuff in the microwave and turn it on and just leave at the end of the class.
Oh, dear God.
Like things like metal or?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
So what happened to these things that you put in the microwave?
I don't know.
I'm sure
I do know. I do know one of the microwaves.
Wait, is the school intact?
Goodness.
Did it burn down? It didn't burn down.
It did not burn down.
Okay.
Good thing you're not admitting to that. On podcast.
Hopefully, just kidding. Hopefully the statute of limitations is up on that microwave crime.
Well, it wasn't me. I was just part of the group of people that were involved in this.
You're just
so you were the ones like, "Hey, do it, man, do it."
Oh shit! Yeah.
Not the actual actors.
Okay,
that's good.
Well, as long as it's Mike and not Mike the arsonist on it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I've only burned down a few schools, guys.
Yeah, he's not some arsonist.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right, yeah. It's in his past, too.
It's in my past.
We got to respect that.
My God.
Just kidding.
That's crazy. Didn't realize you had an arsenic past, but that's okay. So, what made you... So you said you started the podcast because you guys would argue all the time, and people were like, "This is entertaining. You should put that on the internet." That's kind of the same way me and Anthony started. We would be at work just like bullcrapping back and forth forever, and I was just like, "Anthony, what are we doing not having a podcast?"
Yeah, and I was like probably like in mid like thought process about the thing I was like super into, and I was like, "What?" Yeah. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, that was just like an hour of talking about a specific topic that for some reason I'm super into."
Yeah, it just happened. So so since then we've been trying to kind of like figure out ways to expand and different, and we've almost been podcasting in a vacuum, like just figuring things out ourselves, maybe referencing things from the outside, but not all that much.
Yeah.
So we're excited to actually get another podcaster on, and from what you say, you talk to a lot of other people that also do podcasts, right? Like there's this group of people that you.
Yeah, there's a local Cincinnati group that I went to just one time. Yeah.
But still, we didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, that's true.
And after a year.
I just was trying to reach out and meet as many people as possible because I'm new to this world. So I wanted to learn as fast as I possibly could.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I kind of, instead of getting my feet wet, I just jumped right in. I jumped all in.
Yeah. It's good to do that because if you kind of just like push it off, if I feel like then things never get done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind
so how you said your experience. You went to the meetup and there was, I think you said earlier there was 10 people there.
10 or 12, yeah, definitely. There was shows ranging from all walks of life.
Yeah.
There's a lady that had a show for kids It was like a storybook show.
Oh, wow.
And she would read a storybook and play music in the background.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
so
I think her name was April 8.
Okay.
There was a guy that recorded a nature show.
Yeah.
And his show was the Nature Guys.
Yeah.
And he recorded it with his friend that's a naturalist.
And they're all based out of Cincinnati, right?
All based out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, these are all Cincinnati, and we didn't even know these people existed.
Right. You just wouldn't think, and it's cool. Like, it would be... I like how there's so much diversification there.
Yeah.
Like different age ranges and things like that. 'Cause for some reason, when you first mentioned it, I was thinking a bunch of people like us, just because that's just what I know. But like, it sounds like there's all sorts of things.
Yeah,
like
there was
everything.
a birthing coach, a lady who
Oh my God.
did a birthing podcast.
Really?
How many episodes do you
I
have
don't know.
on that?
She had one.
Well, at least she's trying.
She was actually, she didn't have one before she went. She was like, I'm making this podcast. I'm scared to put it out. And everybody's like, put it out there.
Just
so
do
the,
it.
So the next day she put it out there.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
And she's a doula. I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know.
It's somebody who trains people to give birth.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Kind of like a
If she
midwife
hears this,
coach.
please don't be offended. I don't know what doula is.
Yeah. Well, you're pimping her product, so I'm sure she's excited to get some more,
Right.
get some more people. Maybe we've helped somebody that's
6
about to give birth
downloads.
sometime soon. Yeah, exactly. 6 additional downloads. But yeah, so I'm super stoked to get in this podcast network.
Yeah.
That apparently
Yeah.
exists in Cincinnati that we had no idea
Right.
even was there.
If nothing else, just to get like some pointers, some ideas, just brainstorm.
It's very helpful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I said, we've been doing this in a vacuum, just with ourselves, kind of.
Yeah, we kind of never really talked about like just expanding outwards till quite recently. Yeah, for things like that, which is, I think you sparked that, honestly. So like,
Yeah.
just finding you online was pretty sweet.
Glad I could be useful for something.
No,
Yes.
no. I'm just
kidding.
It's just
Thank
like,
you for existing.
I was like
Thanks.
reading through the Cincinnati news because I kind of use that as like the local on the street, on word on the beat or whatever, word on the street.
Word on the street.
And just coming across that comment was pretty sweet. Hey, you're just looking for guests and fellow podcasters and things like that. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and
I'm a
apparently,
fellow podcaster.
what's his face? Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah, we saw.
He has a podcast in Cincinnati.
Yeah, he records live at a bar, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the heck?
It said something like that, but he has like, how does he play? There's like music. His podcast seems like a road show almost.
Something like that.
Yeah, he I think he flies in every week to do the
Whoa.
podcast.
Are you
here.
serious? Oh
That's,
my
that's
gosh.
what they told me at the podcast
Wow.
meetup because they were all talking about it. It was,
That's
So
ridiculous.
Jerry Springer, does he live in like California or something?
I don't know where he used to be the mayor of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely known here, yeah.
Yeah, he used to be the mayor of Cincinnati, and he wrote a check to a prostitute.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And that got him fired.
Because
He did that while he was a mayor?
He was
That's
mayor,
the
and he
best.
wrote a personal check to
it's
a prostitute.
yeah, so there's literal paper trail
What?
linking him to a prostitute.
I would vote for him 7 times. 7 times.
And he
That was-
also fought a bear.
What?
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I didn't know that.
Jerry
Yeah,
Springer.
Yeah,
I
there's
wonder
a
if-
picture of him in the ring with a bear, like as he's mayor.
So this was a
Oh my
legitimate
God.
refereed wrestling
Yeah.
match with a bear.
I don't
He
know if it
couldn't
was
do
like
that
a
now.
fundraiser.
Did he win?
They're trying to make a streetcar back then.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
I bet for his like
streetcar.
application for his TV show, they were like, "So how crazy are you?" He's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I got arrested for writing a check like
to
who
a
does
prostitute
that?
while I was a mayor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, mayor of a damn city.
Yeah.
And he's still well respected somehow.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he comes back to Cincinnati, I've heard everybody's just like Jerry.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's
loves
crazy.
him. They don't care what he did.
So is
It's
his
insane.
podcast weekly? So he comes.
I never
in,
listened to
wow.
it, guys.
I've never listened
I've
to
never
it. I
either.
think last time we checked, it seems like it's almost like a syndicated kind of thing. Like I don't know if he does it anymore. Does he still do like new
Oh.
episodes?
I don't know. I do know he used to have a radio show.
Okay.
Yeah, I
he
remember
did have a
that,
radio
yeah.
show.
Yeah, I knew, but I haven't checked up on the podcast. We could do it right now if we want.
Interesting.
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, we stumbled upon it because we were looking at like what kind of other podcasts are in the area. We're like, there's no way there's anybody that's that big. Turns out Jerry Springer has a podcast in Cincinnati. It's like, okay, we've got some stiff competition, Anthony. We got to work with.
Right. Yeah, I was like, well, he's a
So it's
pro.
like, how do we utilize Jerry Springer? To
And he's
get
a
more
pro
downloads?
troll too, so he like
Yes, he is.
gets his guests all up in a.
I'm not sure if you guys are going after the same demographic.
Same target audience.
Mike, you are not the father. Wait, that's Mari, right? Dang it!
I mean, it's like the same
They do
thing.
the
Were you
same
worried
thing.
if you were the dad? Because you're
Of
not.
what?
Of this baby.
How'd you get a baby down here?
Mike, I got a confession to say. The only reason why we brought you here is because we got to get rid of this baby.
I thought,
So you want it or not?
You didn't even tell me
This
you were
is the
doing
long
this.
con. We made this podcast over a year ago to dupe someone. And
for all I know is I'm just going to get murdered down in this basement.
Well, you are in a basement. Yeah, I was.
This is the last anybody will ever hear my voice.
This is the P fucking Fro death cast with
Will Mark survive? Will he walk away with a baby?
The Future Jam's canceled.
Future Jam.
Mike's dead.
Yeah, if you don't see any more of the Future Jams.
or worse, he has another baby.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So either Mike's going to be dead or has a baby.
Dear God. You said you have a wife, right?
Oh Lord.
Yes.
You got a wife. How would she feel?
Yeah, what does she think? Oh.
Yeah.
Have you been on someone else's podcast before?
No,
or is this kind of like brave new territory?
Brave new territory. Yes.
Okay,
That's
cool.
awesome. And you said she was like taking pictures of you editing or something before?
She tries to get involved as much as possible.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
She helps me write the show notes and
That's awesome.
all sorts of things. She's just always like, oh, you could do this and do that.
Awesome.
That is so helpful.
It's good to have someone to bounce ideas off of. Austin and I kind of just shoot the shit back and forth all the time, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's always good to have a third party too, because we have like I was telling you earlier, Mike, we have like some super listeners that will give us feedback, unabashedly,
right?
And it's actually a huge positive, because we've gotten great responses back from people over just this last year, basically,
right?
And you guys just had your 50th episode.
We did,
which is
congrats, guys.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we've made it this far.
Yep.
Made it this far. But yeah, it's super helpful having somebody to bounce ideas off of, like Sarah.
Yeah.
One of the super listeners that you were talking to, she gave us some of the best like podcasting advice. She actually came from the West Coast to be a guest on the podcast once.
Did she really?
She did, and you can see that episode.
Well, she visited. She was on it. I don't know.
She didn't come for the podcast.
Right.
Oh, she was already here.
She
I want her to be like, wait a minute.
I'm going to spin it like she came for us. Is what I'm going to do.
You guys are big timing.
Exactly. Somebody flew from the West Coast to be on the podcast. Yeah. So, has your wife ever considered being a guest on your podcast?
Ooh.
Wow. Good. I'm glad you asked that, because just last night, she was on last night's episode.
Was she really?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. All right. Awesome.
It's not the one coming out this...
Okay.
Well, it's not the one coming out this week. It's the one for next week.
Okay, that's cool.
So we're a week in advance.
Awesome.
Okay, good.
Oh, that's good to have.
So, yeah, she's actually coming up. What happened is usually I like to prepare throughout the week for the show.
Yeah.
And I contacted my partner and I said, hey, when can we record later on in the week?
Right.
And he's like, well, Monday. Monday is the only night I can record. And I'm like, well, this is Sunday. And I have nothing.
Right.
I am not prepared.
I am not prepared at all.
Oh, my goodness.
And I still had to edit this week's episode as well.
Oh, no.
It's such a process, too.
And so me and my wife... Monday night, we just sat there and just came up with the show idea ourselves for like 4 hours.
That's awesome.
Because we recorded at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you have some information. I have some information. Just hop on the show. And she was super nervous.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if
she was like, super nervous.
Really?
But it didn't, I don't think it came out.
That's good.
I don't think it came out. I
That's
think
like came across as nervous or
yeah. I don't think it came across as nervous.
Awesome.
Really. Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Which
awesome.
I haven't edited yet. Though.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you don't know.
I'll be looking forward to it. I'll have to give it a listen.
Yeah, I want to listen to that too. But yeah, she sounds like she's like super supportive, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's a huge
Yeah,
one.
she is. She's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Awesome.
Nice. When did you guys meet, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, this is an 8-year thing.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So the whole name Jam,
Yeah.
the Future Jam, originally happened because Jared was my roommate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 8 years ago, Jared and I were roommates, and people would say, hey, let's go hang out at Jams.
Oh, okay.
Because that's our apartment was called Jams.
Yeah.
Right.
And she was just one of those friends that would come over and hang out. We all just sat on the couch and played Age of Empires or
that's so awesome.
did LAN parties.
That is the best.
Oh, yeah.
So was this in college?
Yeah, this is in college, around
gotcha.
college time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay,
around that
cool.
age.
I'm 30 now, so
Gotcha.
early 20s.
So you like split mine and Anthony's ages.
Yeah, I'm 34.
Kind of. Yeah, and I'm 23.
23.
As of like a week ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, she came to that, and we were friends, and then we didn't see each other for about 3 to 4 years. Or so.
Wow.
And then we had like a friend reunion of sorts because Jared
nice.
lives in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
he doesn't live around here.
Okay.
And
interesting.
when he was in town, we did a friend reunion. We met up again.
Yeah.
At that, and then
I see.
it just kind of
That's awesome. Blossomed from there.
Blossomed from there. Yeah. Thanks.
So your partner, he radios in every time then.
Yeah, he radios in every time.
I guess I didn't. I just assumed it was like in person, like Austin and I.
No, it sounds like he's in the room because he records his end and sends it to me.
That's right.
And I put it in there.
Okay, so it
sounds like we're in the same room together, but we're not.
Yeah, the one I listened to in the beginning, I couldn't even tell.
I couldn't I thought you were in the same room.
Yeah.
No, we're not. And nobody really notices at all.
Well, now the cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag now. We're fake.
Right, no.
Fake news.
No,
I mean, we kind of like toyed around with it, like calling people on the phone, but then we did like a Skype one because
it's very difficult.
Yeah, it seems it's just hard to get people remotely in. But now I understand what earlier you were talking about splicing the audio together. Now that kind of makes sense. So you guys count down and then just, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, you have to have somebody on the other end that's knowledgeable of has the recording software.
Exactly.
If you have a guest, you don't want to. You don't want to force them to get this software and then record their end and make sure that's right and then send it to you.
So when you would have a guest over, he would still call in, and then like, how do you hear him? Just through your headphones, or
we don't have any. We haven't had any actual guests yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Like I've had like a rotating co-host chair, so when Jared's busy, I'll have my friend Andrew come in.
Okay.
My friend Tyler came in for the Mars episode.
Oh,
gotcha.
Okay.
And we didn't record an intro or an outro, so I had Jared record an intro and outro with me. So it's Jared and my friend Tyler did the Mars section. So it's kind of all over.
So you kind of have like some guests like revolving in-ish kind of like guest hosts. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so when you do have the guests over, are you guys in the same room? You have 2 mics for that?
Yes, I have 2 mics in the basement. And then
cool.
We haven't done, like last night with my wife was the first time we recorded 3 at a time.
Okay.
We've always done 2.
Okay.
And last night was 3. So we'll see how that turns out.
Gotcha.
Cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Thanks for that talk about the podcast. And that was interesting. I love the story of how you guys met. That's awesome. Through a LAN party. LAN parties are our bread and butter. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back with episode 51 of the P-Funk and Fro Show.
Whoa!
And we're back.
Oh, yeah.
And we're back with episode 51 of the P-Funk and Fro Show. We got Mike Sandberg.
Hey, guys.
He's still here.
I didn't leave.
He didn't leave or get murdered.
I had my exit, and I could have just bolted.
Yeah, that's true.
I could have this is not what I thought.
You know what we would have done? I would have tried to mimic your voice.
Yep.
Now I'm just Mike is totally still here.
It's like those dates where you have to make up an excuse, like, I think I got a show. I got his phone call.
My friend's having a kid. I gotta go birth the kid. I just listened to this podcast about it.
I got stuck in a tree or something. The fire department.
Kid's stuck in a tree.
That's a baby. I gotta go.
See you guys.
Bye.
Nice knowing you.
Yes.
Right.
But no, he's still here, and we didn't kill him either, so that's good.
Jesus.
So, in true spirit of the show, we were talking before about adventures and stuff that we'd all been on, and how you'd been involved in a lot of cool adventures in the past. One that you highlighted to us, one to China. That sounded especially interesting to me. So, do you want to talk about like your trip to China? Like, was this a solo trip? Did you go with a group of people, and how did you get started?
Okay, yeah. So, when I was in high school, my parents decided they wanted to adopt a girl from China.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like a 2-year process. It takes
like
forever to go through that.
Oh, and it's expensive.
Yeah. And luckily enough, I got to go with them for 3 weeks.
Oh, damn.
When we went to go pick up my youngest sister.
Yeah. Is that kind of like an integration part of the 3 weeks? Like, do you meet her family or friend? Like, I don't know. How does that work?
Well, I guess they kind of want to vet you. You have to fill out a bunch of paperwork in China and all that stuff. So when you go there, they put you up in this 5-star, because I guess they don't want you to be too
off put by the surroundings or whatever?
So they put us in this crazy 5-star hotel, and like the breakfast buffet was like crazy. There's
my gosh.
Sausage and pancakes and
you want some eggs? How about a baby? Okay, eggs is fine.
What is it with people giving away babies? It's the theme of the podcast.
Would you like a hot tub?
There was an omelet guy, an omelet bar, all sorts of crazy stuff.
That's
wow,
baby bar.
Oh
my goodness.
But we were
okay, I'll stop.
Get out of here with that.
I'll stop.
Get out of here with that.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to go before the group because we had to fly in early because my dad's a pilot he was a pilot for Delta.
Oh, cool.
So we flew over with his benefits.
Oh, I see.
Gotcha.
So we were there a week early, so we got to experience China.
That would be
my
awesome.
God.
We got to experience China on our own terms instead of with a tour guide that like brought us around everywhere. So
and you're just like killing time in a freaking awesome city, I'm sure.
That's amazing.
It was awesome.
And what city was this?
We were all over the place.
Okay.
Guangzhou province, Beijing, what's not Tokyo. That's Japan.
That's Japan. Yeah, that's the
I don't
other
even
one.
know.
That's the other China. That's island China.
Island China. Oh my God. We were about to have a strong following from the Japanese.
Not anymore.
Right.
I'm just drawing a blank on the actual
that's okay. Totally makes sense.
city names, but
it's amazing though.
We tried actual Chinese food, and it's not like anything we would experience here.
No,
that's what I've heard.
No,
that's what I've heard.
Like you'll walk down like the market area, and there'll be like tanks full of like crazy snakes and
oh my God,
all sorts of crazy things you could never imagine.
Really?
And they're just like cooking it right on the spot.
Yeah, they're just cooking it there. Yeah. And if you go into a restaurant, it's like a brothy mixture, and you're like, what am I eating?
Would you like the soup or the soup? Right?
It's all in characters. Right. You don't. Chinese characters, you have no idea what they're eating.
Yeah.
It's not in English.
So you just point at the one that looks the most tasty?
Yeah. Exactly.
Gotcha. The one that's not sitting next to a bowl of snakes?
Yeah, so we were there a whole week early, so we got to experience the real China.
Wow.
But then when the tour guide came there, they would like bring us a special American menu.
Okay. Here's your hamburger.
BS, you know?
Or like sesame chicken and like orange chicken and stuff like that.
They just served like the stuff we were used to.
Right.
So were you like it sounds like you were pretty bummed when all that like the regular touristy type thing kicked in.
Oh yeah. But when we were off on our own, we went to I guess DVDs used to be huge, and DVDs aren't really anymore. But bootleg DVDs.
Oh yeah,
they were like constantly trying to get you to buy bootleg DVDs.
Yeah,
and I remember this one guy. He just kind of forced us into his shop.
Oh my God.
It was like a place where people got their haircuts, and he just like led us by our hands back to the very back, and I'm like, is this the end? Is this the end? And then he brings us to his bedroom, and he pulls he pulls this box of DVDs from under his bed.
God. He's hawking DVDs from his hairstylist bedroom.
He's like, bro, you want the Avengers?
Yeah, but it's spelled just slightly different. I've seen some of like on the internet, some of like it's just like the spelling's just off.
It was bad. It was
hand drawn.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take, because that was when the original Hulk came out.
Oh,
and I'm like, I'll take a copy of that.
Oh
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, yeah. I guess I would buy it just to be like, here's a bootleg from China.
Was it legit? Did you watch it?
I tried watching it, and it was like, I was watching it, and it was the Helen of Troy.
Oh my! So it wasn't even the Hulk.
Troy.
I don't know if that was a movie or a TV show on HBO.
Oh, it wasn't even the Hulk.
I mean, I'm familiar with the
Hulk.
story.
It was booting through, and it was Helen of Troy.
Oh my God! So it was like a romance, like
what the heck is that?
Yeah.
So I am like, this isn't the Hulk I know.
This isn't
some
my
chicken,
Hulk.
Yeah.
This is someone else's Hulk.
Some chick starting a war.
That's messed up. That's amazing that you got just like a week to walk around China. Like,
and there was random people just hitting you up for all sorts of things. Like they'd open their jacket, and there would be like
watches.
50,
what are you buying?
Like hundreds of watches in their jacket.
God.
We went to places where they were selling bootleg North Face jackets. And,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
have you been to the like a Chinatown in New York or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it compare to that in the like hundreds of watches in a jacket aspect?
Yeah, it's very similar.
Okay, yeah, because that's
like,
where I got like a
everywhere?
fake Casio G-Shock watch for like $8.
Yeah. I've heard reports like you were saying, like where everything's like bootleg, that people are buying hard drives and they bring them back to the States. Like you can plug them in and test them.
Yeah,
and it's got a USB. And when they plug it in their computer and they get home, it's got like 32 gigs on it when it was like supposed to be 2 terabytes.
Yeah.
And then they open it up and it's got this like square piece of steel just for weight, and it's just a thumb drive glued to the port. so in case people test it like with their phone, like, oh, let me see. Oh, okay, it works.
So they basically bought a flash drive.
Exactly, but it's
a big.
I saw a couple of those. That's pretty funny.
That's messed up.
But so you were there for a week on your own, and then it was 3 more weeks or 2 more weeks with
2 more weeks with the groups.
And was it kind of like a controlled? Did they give you tours, or was it more of an acclimation with like the babies?
It was like the standard thing where they took us to the Great Wall of China. We saw all the Chinese gardens, all those things,
the touristy stuff,
and that was amazing, and it was awesome. But
it's not the same as taking in the real heart and soul of the city,
right.
And I feel the same thing. Like,
Austin and I are in the same realm with that.
Oh yeah, like went on a few trips to New York, and the first couple times it was like super touristy, like see the Statue of Liberty, see like the Trump Towers and stuff like that. But then I went just with my brother, and we just walked straight through Brooklyn, and it's like so much more rewarding.
Yeah, I'd rather do my own thing than have a tour guide bring us around.
Right? Yeah.
Same.
I'm not sure if you guys are into like extreme sports at all, or like have you guys ever whitewater rafted or anything like that?
I've canoed a lot, but I haven't whitewater rafted much.
Okay, so
just minimally.
I have a good one on that tangent if you want to.
Yeah,
definitely.
Let's follow this road.
Let's start whitewater rafting.
Okay, so when I was in high school, our youth group went on a trip to West Virginia.
Okay.
And West Virginia is known for their crazy rapids, like one of the top-rated rapids in the world, like 5-star.
Cool. That's
amazing.
And 5-star means like
really
hard,
very difficult.
Wow.
Just like ski slopes.
I see.
Like you're gonna die on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
and
pro style. Yeah.
And I guess our youth pastor had chosen a cheap company to go with.
Oh, jeez.
Was he like 5 stars? Oh, this must be good.
Yeah, it's a 5-star.
It's like ratings on Amazon, right?
And we should have known this going in, but it was raining the whole time before we got there. And that day, it just stopped raining for a little bit.
But all that rain built up.
All that rain had built up.
Oh, yes.
We got out there, and we were the only group on the river.
Ooh.
So wait, other people were like sidelined, and then they see you guys like noobs.
No. All the other companies that would take tours on the river, they're like, this river's too strong.
Oh my
this current's too powerful to even go out. It's not worth it. But our company, the company we went with, wanted the money because we had quite a big group.
So it was a 5-star rapid with a 1-star company.
Exactly. Don't ever do this.
I've started to paint.
That's a good
picture.
And they never notified the authorities.
Oh my goodness.
At all.
Yeah.
And I guess up the river a bit, there's a dam. That holds water back, and I guess the dam was filling up. So they decided to release the dam.
Oh my god!
While we were out on the river. What? Yes, serious.
What? That's insane.
So they thought nobody was on the river.
Yes.
So they're like, release the hounds.
So you got like some Lord of the Rings like thing coming down after you.
Oh,
down
like
the river.
Yeah, you won't imagine the fear in everybody's eyes. Everybody thought they were dead.
Can we imagine?
Because. Down the river.
Did you hear it coming first?
You could hear the sound. Yeah, you could hear the sound.
Roar.
And
my goodness.
As you're going down the river, you can't escape because there's walls on each side of the river. It's through canyons. So you can't leave. You have to go all the way to the end to get out.
Dude. So you buy the ticket, you ride the ride.
You have to ride the ride. And each boat boat had their own guide.
Yeah.
And the
guides, did they jump ship?
They're like, I'm done. No, you could see the guides were like so afraid. They were looking at each other in like abject fear. They were looking back and forth, and when it got to like a calm area, they pulled us off to the side, and they gathered in a group like in the corner, and they were just like talking amongst each other, and you could see they were like, oh man, they were like
irate,
relieved to be alive.
No, because we were halfway.
And they didn't know what to do or something.
And they were gathered up, like trying to figure out how do we get the rest of the way down.
And
as we're going down the river, there's whole trees floating down, past
uprooted
us.
trees.
Not even nature could handle this course.
No,
wow!
And this is already a level 5 rapid, so
yeah.
imagine that turned up to 100.
Insanity.
Oh my God.
And every single boat flipped except for the one I was on.
Oh,
so we had a good guide, and we were paddling like our lives depended on it.
Oh man.
Jesus.
And I've never felt like that close to death in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
And as we're going down, people were getting sucked out of the boats and sucked underneath the water. One girl's helmet got ripped off her head.
Holy cow.
And
crap.
she had a concussion from it.
Oh, my God.
And I guess they were so scared of like somebody dying that when we got to the end of the course, there was like 4 or 5 ambulances.
So they were like, hey, we're going to have some like death or injuries. Do you see the trees? All right, we see the trees too.
Yes.
If we get a dead body, we'll put them on one of the trees. We'll push them on down. Oh my God.
Push them down the river.
They were expecting death. They were expecting that.
That's
God,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah, because what do you do if you're like halfway through? Yeah, because who knows? It could just keep rising or oh my God.
Yeah.
And to this day, people still talk about it. And I always say this, like, you know how people exaggerate stories?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is one of those stories where it's impossible to exaggerate because it's way worse than we could ever imagine.
No, just how you're explaining.
It's unexplainable how crazy it was.
God.
I was trying to just imagine that.
Yeah, just the
trees floating down.
When did you realize that the dam was opened? Like, did you know that's what happened, or did you not find out until later? That
We didn't find out till later.
Okay.
And as we're going down, it started off kind of calm. Well, I should have known that there was some problems because when we went into launch, usually you would walk like into your boat and then go out into the river.
Yeah.
We had to wade through knee-deep water just to get to the river.
Oh, weird.
So
I should have known. I should have known from there that we were. Yeah, I should have known from there that we were set up for
a disaster, potential disaster. Jeez, awesome. You ever had a close life encounter like that, or
no?
Yeah, I mean, I can't
not in terms of rafting.
I mean, I've had like close calls with like cars, but that sounds like constant and sheer terror for a long time.
Yeah, never anything like that.
I can't even compare it to anything else that's happened to me.
That sounds quite crazy.
Yeah, holy crap. I'm a very careful man. I try to be very careful with my day to day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would have avoided that like the plague.
I'm the same thing. Like I'm very cautious. I don't do things that I know I could possibly get like severely injured. So I'm like, I'm not going to take up skateboarding because I could fall and break my wrist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So did you say this was a family trip?
No, this was with the youth group.
Oh, the youth group. Gotcha.
It was with all kids my age.
Oh my God.
And one youth pastor.
Yeah.
Did anybody so besides the concussion, did anybody get seriously injured because of this?
Amazingly, no.
Wow.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Nobody knows how we all made it through. Like,
against all odds.
I do know a lot of people who went on the trip. They never wanted to go back to to water again.
I would imagine some people would be terrified of going close to any sort of river or stream after that. Jesus, because how the water basically turned on or whatever.
And that whole trip was like set up for disaster as well. Like later on, we went horseback riding and. One of the guys, he was a bigger guy, and I guess they didn't tighten the saddle.
What?
Oh no!
So the same trip, the guy was riding on the horse, and the saddle went upside down,
and he was attached to it still. Oh my!
So he just like
horse hooves can like really injue you.
Yes.
They can start like freaking out and start like hoofing themselves.
And he just lands on the ground, and I'm like, okay.
That guy's probably like, this is the worst trip. Everything I touch, I either end up upside down or in a damn river.
All right, so like, was he? I'm imagining this is probably not how it actually happened. I'm imagining him just like dangling beneath the horse's belly with his head just like scraping against the ground, still attached to the saddle.
Yeah, he was attached for a brief moment,
and then he
hit the ground.
All right,
still, that's a hard way to dismount.
It was like a little fat, pot-bellied horse because he was a bigger guy. So,
no.
So I felt bad for him because he was already like a pretty hefty guy. So,
I was about to ask you where this was. You said West Virginia. That's interesting. My family, I went out west and did kind of whitewater rafting. This was out in Yellowstone, and then we did horseback riding too.
Rafting out there,
but it was. I think it was kind of shallow. Nothing crazy like that.
Yeah.
I mean, as kids, like a lot of things are crazy like that. But that's funny.
Yeah.
The horse thing just reminded me. I think it was either mine or my sister's horse kept farting up front. So I remember being behind, like, at least your horse is farting. She'd be like, I can't help that. But yeah, nothing crazy happened with whitewater. I would love to go whitewater rafting again.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, man, I don't know. Now I have to think about the river and. Yeah, that'll give me pause if it's ever like downpouring before.
Yeah, definitely check your company and make sure they're legit.
100%. Yeah, so that was a major outdoorsy trip. When you take journeys and trips like that, do you usually end up doing something outdoorsy, or is it more just like a traditional vacation of relaxation and stuff like that? Kind of a mixture between the two?
I hate just strict relaxation, so I have to do something. So a lot of times if we go on a trip, so we go down to Red River Gorge, which is a local hiking place around here.
Yeah.
We'll do that, hike out and camp in the woods.
I love Red River Gorge.
Yeah.
I just had it. I know.
It's awesome.
I've talked about it a ton. But yeah,
we're going in like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we'd go to Red River Gorge a lot, and then around here there's mainly just Red River Gorge, isn't there?
Pretty much.
But we on our honeymoon we went to Portland, Oregon. And we went to Seattle, Washington.
Ooh, my favorite city.
And both of those cities were amazing.
Yeah, I love Seattle.
Like so many mountains. Like we went to like as many mountains as we could go to. We even found a rainforest.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. Out in between Portland and Seattle, there's a place called the Hoh Rainforest.
Okay.
And it's just so beautiful. It's marvelous.
Wow.
It's kind of like a swampy-like environment almost, but not. It's
so. I guess because I kind of remember Seattle, but I just so happen to have the 3 most beautiful days in the summer. Apparently, when I went out and visited. But what time of year did you go out?
August.
For that? August. Okay, that's kind of when I went out.
It was perfect temperature.
Yeah, I kept asking all the locals like, "Where's all the rain?" And I quickly stopped because they hear that all the time, but. A couple of them secretly told me, they're like, we don't really tell anybody this, but in the summertime it's actually quite beautiful out here. So I was like, so if you're like super rich, house in Seattle for summer, and then maybe somewhere else in winter.
Yeah.
But was it like kind of warm in the rainforest, or?
Yeah, it was pretty warm and it was very humid. Usually
okay.
Portland and Seattle aren't very humid cities.
Yeah, just because they're
drier, but. Yeah, it was more of a humid environment, kind of like it was not like a massive rainforest like you would see like down in South America or something like that, but it was the closest thing I think we have on the North American continent. Mm-hmm. But it was like the redwoods, not I guess some offshoot.
There's a lot more redwoods over in that area than I thought. I thought it was just for some reason growing up. I thought there was just like that redwood forest,
just like one patch.
But there's like tons of huge trees out there, and like you're right, like the landscape just with the mountains. It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. It's like an alien planet. Like Google Hoh Rainforest. And look at it. Well, listeners.
Yeah. How do you spell that?
H-O.
That's okay. Gotcha.
H-O. Interesting.
The rainforest. Yeah, that's amazing. It blows my mind the differences in climates and like geological attributes that there are on the West Coast and in Washington even specifically. Because you've got like ski slopes and then you've got hot weather at the same time. Yeah. Like in the same state. Like how is that even possible?
Like rainy all the time, but then not all the time.
Yeah.
But and I love the West Coast. It's nice.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, yeah, I've talked it way too much on here, but yeah. So I took a solo trip out there for like 2 weeks, but I was basically just city hopping. Loved it.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and I went to San Francisco. Like I think it's been a year and a half ago now.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But San Francisco was amazing because they just have that constant fall climate. Which is amazing. Just sweatshirt weather all the time.
Love it. And shorts,
Yeah, I went to San Diego. I haven't been to San Francisco. And one thing that amazed me, no insects.
Wow.
Really?
No insects.
I don't really remember anything in San Francisco.
People don't have screens in their windows.
Because there's not the risk.
There's not that
That's
issue.
Crazy.
So when I was in Portland and San Diego, the windows are just open. And there's no need for a screen.
That's crazy.
And there's no mosquito problem because it's not humid enough for mosquitoes. So like that's why there's so many beach bums out there, I think. You can just sleep on the beach and not have to really worry about it.
That's true, because here, this damn Ohio Valley,
mosquitoes are everywhere.
Call it Mosquito Valley.
Yes.
And the further you get down south, the worse it gets.
Yeah, it just gets real sticky and nasty. I didn't even think of that while I was out there. I don't remember really having any, because I was on a bike most of the time, like traveling.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember I didn't even think of that as a thing.
You were a quickly moving target. Is that something that you noticed, or did like a local tell you that or something? Or
no, I noticed it because I usually hate going to the beach just because of
the
that.
Bugs,
just bugs.
And I usually hate humid environments because I sweat. I'm a sweaty man.
As do I.
I'm a sweaty man, so I hate humidity.
Yeah.
And so I just fell in love with the dry climate.
Yeah.
And no insects.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I appreciate that. So out of all these places that you've been, would you be comfortable declaring a favorite place of all the different cities that you've journeyed to?
I would say my favorite place I've been to is Turkey.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, a place we haven't even touched on.
We haven't even touched on that. I don't know how much time you have.
That's okay. Oh yeah, we can go into it a little bit. So when you went to Turkey, so what did you like about it? Because I can honestly say I have no idea about anything about Turkey.
Just the political climate.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one nice thing about Turkey is when it's really bad now. But
It's terrible.
10 years ago when I went, it was fairly calm country. And when I went there, it's like you're going to Europe but not paying the Europe tax.
Interesting.
So it's super cheap, and you're experiencing everything you would experience in Europe.
Like ancient buildings and things like that.
Ancient buildings, all sorts of crazy mosques, ancient civilization.
That's beautiful.
Well, that's like one of the Byzantine Empire.
Yeah.
That's a huge area for like all this ancient relics. And
Turkey's huge. It's pretty big.
Turkey's amazing. And the climate ranges from Mediterranean to like cold climate.
Wow, up in mountains.
Up in mountains, and some of the most beautiful mountains I've seen.
Wow. Places like that fascinate me.
Yeah.
And what's cool is instead of doing the route where we stayed in these nice rich hotels or nice hotels, we went on a very low budget and we just traveled from city to city to city. So we actually did a whole loop around the whole country.
Oh, holy crap. So, that would be amazing.
We were there for about 3 to 4 weeks.
Holy shit.
And we went to, I think, 11 different cities.
So you soaked in Turkey.
We soaked in. So we started out like up north, and then we started slowly coming down, and we ended it near the Mediterranean Sea.
Wow, that's awesome.
We went to this awesome place. It reminded me of like Star Wars.
Like
it
a
was
canteen?
No. It was like a city that was in caves.
So what? Do you remember what it was
like
called?
Carved into it? Like
I don't. I should have. I didn't take a lot of notes. I should have taken more notes.
That's okay.
But our hotel was in a cave.
Oh my god!
Like kind of
dude,
like a hollowed out into the rock.
I think they did that a lot. They must have like way back in the day, if I'm thinking correctly. It's been like a couple movies where there's like big pillars. So it looks like just buildings carved into the rock.
Yeah, it's like domed rocks. It's near the city of Ephesus. So we actually went to the ancient city of Ephesus.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
If anybody wants to look this up, it's near the city of Ephesus.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I'll have to definitely look it up.
And then the city we went to down near the Mediterranean was called Antalya.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went all through pretty much every major city we went to.
That's like the dream.
You couldn't do that now. Not in Turkey right now.
Not right now. Yeah. But we just did our best to meet locals. Yeah. And we just would meet locals at whatever city we went to.
Yeah.
And we would just have them take us around because they loved Americans. They were like, "Oh, you're from America," and a lot of people there spoke English. Surprisingly enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So they would just glom onto us and kind of like, "Oh, we'll show you this, that, and the other," and then they'll give us their cell phone number, and we meet them up at a coffee shop because coffee's huge there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, coffee and that type of thing is huge, and they would just show us the city. So we got to experience every single little thing about each city,
and it was much cheaper than like say like France and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot cheaper.
Yeah, just because it's less touristy, or
it's less touristy, but it's still a very nice area. Like,
I can only imagine.
It's not high crime. Everybody, even the poorest people, dress nice.
Wow.
Like they all have designer jeans
because it's so cheap.
No, it's because they tend to wear the same clothes. Like they have like maybe one pair of nice jeans, and they don't really bathe a lot.
So they go for the gusto. Yeah,
gotcha. They're all wearing designer jeans and nice shirts, but they might just have one set.
So they might stay.
Interesting. Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds a lot like what you did on your West Coast trip. Go there and meet a bunch of locals, and they tell you exactly where to go.
Yeah, I had like a brief itinerary for each city. And then after Seattle, once I realized like bartenders and like waitresses and stuff, or just local bar goers, would just be like, "Where are you going next?" Like whatever city, and they'd be like, "You need to go here. If you're doing that, you got to do this." And I would just be like frantically on my Chromebook, just like starting things on Google Maps.
And that's exactly what we did.
And the locals know best. I didn't. I can't even think of one bad meal I had out there for like 2 weeks.
Because you trust the locals.
Yeah, it was just excellent.
That's amazing.
Same thing. We just ate at the local restaurants.
I'm sure
we didn't go to anything fancy or anything like that. And their food was great.
Yeah, it's probably cheaper than the fancy restaurants, and it's probably good. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
we
awesome.
would just take the bus to each city.
Yeah.
And when we got to the bus stop, we would send one of us out to scope out hotels in the area. Okay. And we just find the cheapest hotel and make sure that it was livable. And the hotels are really weird. There's no like normal toilets and stuff like a lot.
There's the squat toilets.
The squat toilets. That's better for your body, anyways.
Yeah, I think I can get used to that just because Red River Gorge. Because that's all you got out there too. But
it's not a bidet.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait. They did. I take that back. They did have bidets.
Did they really?
They had bidets, and that's when I first experienced bidets.
What?
And this is going off of your previous
off of Joe's episode of the podcast.
Off of Joe's episode.
Yes,
and the bidet was the best experience of
turkey. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Not a turkey. Of the bathroom.
Of the bathrooms in Turkey.
I want a bidet just like that. Like it's so.
That's amazing.
So refreshing.
I've never experienced one.
I haven't either.
With all these guys talking about bidets, Austin.
We
need to get people on the fresh show bidet.
Does IKEA have a bidet section or something?
I would test it out.
You can test that at the store.
You need to get yourself a bidet, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Have a good day, get a bidet.
We need to get sponsored by a bidet company.
Or that's even better.
Yes.
I was going to say like a GoFundMe. Be like, get a bidet for the P-Funk Pro show. People would be like, we can need a toilet for your damn podcast?
It keeps them calm.
Oh, shit.
Literally, yeah. That's amazing, dude. That fits the spirit of the podcast so perfectly.
It does,
just like adventuring without any set itinerary. It's so perfect. And like the thing that you talked about people in Turkey loving to show Americans around to the different places, that is exceptionally true there, but it's true for any traveler in any location. I think that we found is like people love helping you for some reason. Yep. I don't know. That just seems to be the constant.
That is true. Yeah, especially solo traveling. I remember like when I would just tell people solo travel, all of a sudden I'm like, how can I help?
Yeah,
like, what
exactly.
Do you need? What do you need?
People are excited to help travelers.
But
their fellow man.
Yeah, that's what's awesome. It kind of gives you like a revival on humanity.
Yeah,
also.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I would just say it doesn't hurt if your dad's a pilot and he can fly all sorts of places. It doesn't hurt.
We'll have him on the podcast later. It's all right.
Yeah, we're getting Mike's dad on the podcast.
Like, hey, Mike.
We can have a dad cast.
A dad cast.
Your dad can talk to my dad, and your dad can come on the podcast.
Right, he's coming up here soon.
That sounds fantastic. Well, Mike, I think it's time to wrap up. This has been a fantastic episode. We'd love to have you on. It's nice to meet you also. We just met Mike today.
We just met you today.
In the mall. So, once again, Mike Sandberg. Check out the Future Jam podcast most Tuesdays. Every time you can expect it Tuesday. If it's not Tuesday, check it out the next day, I guess.
Yep.
For editing. He does all the editing and stuff like that. Let him know how you like his wife as a co-host, because that was cool, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she did good.
This has
might
been...
not want to know.
Only good feedback. But, this has been episode 51 of the P-Funk and Fro Show. We're going to be posting on iTunes and Android podcast services every Friday. So check it out all across the globe. Check out the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/pfunkandfro. A lot of cool people in there. And most importantly, in a few days, so when you hear this on Friday, in 2 days, we will be at the Flying Pig Marathon outside of Fuel, Coffee, and Cars. So if you know where that is, look for the P-Funk and Fro booth. We're going to have a banner. Going to be playing some cool games, I assume.
It'll be early in the morning. I'll be running around like a nut.
We'll probably be there at like 7 o'clock. Just stop by sometime. Anytime between like 7 and 1:45.
I'll be riding my bike.
Say hi.
I'll be like a bum riding
He'll be riding his bike. But until next time, we'll see you folks later.
Later.
And either of you guys, if you guys ever want to come on one of the shows.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Have you listened at all to any of them? Or
I listened to the beginning. Austin has listened to it, I believe. I love talking about tech.
Yeah.
So like I almost have to throttle myself because we had a couple super listeners earlier on in our podcast that would actually like explain, like tell us, give us feedback basically, and be like, I don't.
It's hard to find those people.
We're the tech people?
No, to get feedback.
Oh, right. And that still, like, listen. Yeah, we were just kind of lucky with that. We had a couple one from, like, Portland. But it seemed like a lot of people just, again, it's just friends and family. and we're like, I guess, the nerdier side of our groups in that regard, I would imagine. So what excites us on certain veins may not excite like the general population that was listening to. But I don't know.
That's accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty much. So we kind of like, but naturally we were like traveling a bunch. So we had a lot of like exciting adventures. So we kind of like morphed into like, we got into our stride with, like Austin was saying, with our guests, but also just general adventure talk and just life stuff. Like with what's going on.
Those are like what people seem to like the most is the adventure episodes.
Yeah. And interesting guests. Everybody likes the new guests.
That and the guests and the deep talks. People like the deep talks.
Right. If either of you guys ever want to come on and you have like a kind of a main topic you want to talk about or anything like that, just let me know.
Nice.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, I will definitely contact you.
Because I'm really flexible, like when I record or whatever. And it doesn't always need to be with like the ghost, or if both of you guys want to come in, you can if you want.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
I would have to get one more mic or just...
Or you use one of these.
Oh, you could just come, So.
Come packing a mic.
Definitely.
That's like the best kind of slumber party. It's like, hey, I brought my own mic. Let's do a podcast.
Yeah, right. Let's podcast.
Yeah. All right.
That's
ready? So the way we do this now. Oh, yeah. Can you tell me what kind of cereal you like?